Today, let's explore Psychology Class, a book that teaches us how to become our true selves. The book mentions that the birth of a baby signifies physical separation from the mother, but a psychological bond remains. As the baby gradually realizes that they are not the same as their mother, the process of individuation begins and continues throughout life. This process, known as becoming oneself, is exceedingly challenging. So, what hinders us from becoming our true selves? The answer lies in our subconscious mind. The subconscious forms a protective barrier through conscious and mental defense mechanisms. However, when our consciousness fails to understand the subconscious, these defense mechanisms become chaotic. The aim of psychotherapy is to expand our range of consciousness, helping us truly understand our subconscious and gradually become our authentic selves. The book mentions that psychological development undergoes 3 stages. The first stage is dependency, where we need to rely on others to survive. For example, even as adults, we exhibit many dependent behaviors. The second stage is control, which arises as we develop self-awareness. Gradually, a desire for control emerges, such as being overly concerned about how others perceive us, essentially wanting to control them. The third stage is maturity, where we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world. We develop an independent and liberated personality, capable of loving ourselves and others, respecting personal boundaries, and rejoicing in the growth of others. Psychological development matures during this stage. However, during the process of psychological development, we encounter many unknown situations that blur our self-identity. At such times, we may exhibit 2 conditions. The first is regression, where psychological development regresses. When we experience certain traumas, our range of consciousness narrows, leading our consciousness to retreat into the subconscious. For example, some individuals tend to withdraw when facing troubles, displaying a dependent state similar to that of an infant. The second condition is projection, where we project our thoughts and desires onto others and prefer not to see them within ourselves. For instance, lazy parents often have strict expectations regarding their children's academics because they do not want to become diligent themselves, instead projecting this need onto their children. Projection allows us to perceive the world according to our desires. When the boundaries of the self are unclear, it brings various chaos into our lives, including the following. First, unclear self-boundaries in the workplace. Such individuals often find workplace relationships too complex to handle. They project complex needs onto work relationships rather than maintaining the boundary of simply being there to work. They frequently clash with others, either by invading others' boundaries or inviting others into their own subconscious boundaries. Second, narcissism. Narcissism is one of the manifestations of unclear self-boundaries. Narcissistic individuals tend to exaggerate their abilities and importance, craving constant praise. They expect to be treated preferentially or demand unconditional compliance from others. At their core, narcissistic individuals deeply fear being looked down upon by others. However, there is also healthy narcissism, where individuals view narcissistic emotions as motivation to transcend themselves, continuously develop abilities, and enhance personal charisma. Thus, we should have a correct understanding of narcissistic emotions. Third, emotional isolation. In intimate relationships, when a conflict arises, it may seem like we are passionately expressing ourselves, but we are actually attempting to isolate the other person's emotions. Fourth, self-attack. A common manifestation of self-attack is low self-esteem. To transcend low self-esteem, it requires redirecting the direction of attack, such as fully immersing oneself in a career, channeling that attacking energy externally. Fifth, reactive formation. Some individuals are unwilling to acknowledge certain feelings within themselves and express the opposite in an extreme manner. For example, if there is an inner resentment toward authority, they exhibit excessive respect. People who always start with "I'll be honest with you" often begin with deception. Those who are always sharp-tongued often possess kindness deep within, but are hesitant to show it. Everything we see in excess has the potential to be a result of reactive formation. The human psyche is highly complex, and when we become aware of this complexity and invest more energy into real-life experiences, we can better love and create. When psychological development encounters physiological issues, we may experience negative emotions such as depression, anxiety, and fear. I won't go into detailed explanations about these three emotions. The book also addresses various psychological issues in interpersonal relationships, but I want to focus on intimate relationships. The essence of intimate relationships is gaining stability at the cost of losing a certain degree of freedom. However, there are significant personality differences between men and women, making intimate relationships often quite contrary to human nature, often leading to regression and projection phenomena. For example, women often enter the control stage in intimate relationships. There are two common forms of control. The first is complaining, where some individuals become chronic complainers, regressing to the infant stage, abandoning the use of intellect. Their words lack meaning, but they convey or imply that the other person cannot or does not want to meet their needs, resulting in perpetual dissatisfaction within themselves. The second is being coquettish, where the essence is an expansion of the range of consciousness. It can activate the other person's heroism, subtly implying that the other person can and is willing to meet their needs. The result is that the other person becomes delighted to be controlled. When men face issues in intimate relationships, they exhibit two forms of behavior. The first is avoidance, where they avoid problems by sleeping or indulging in their phones. They show that they have died within the relationship, which is an instinctive response inherited from lower animals. When faced with danger, they either freeze or flee, but this only enrages women. The second is appeasement, where they appear to have left the relationship but still hold onto it and protect themselves. The result is that women may say he is talking nonsense, but they are still happy. The book mentions that a healthy intimate relationship depends on both parties being willing, guided by wisdom and determination, to love each other as they truly are rather than as they wish them to be. When we give up trying to change others, they feel accepted. And refraining from trying to change others allows us to maintain our freedom. We are no longer in a teacher-student relationship. We don't overly idealize the other person, so we won't be disappointed, and we won't project our own issues onto them. We can clearly delineate our own boundaries and those of the other person. The book also delves into various relationships, such as parent-child relationships and mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationships. Readers interested in these topics can explore the book. Lastly, I want to share a quote from the book: "Other people's truths must be experienced through your own body to become your own truth." This quote tells us that other people's experiences and truths can only become our own truths through our own physical practice. We cannot simply accept others' perspectives, we need to gain true knowledge through our own experiences. By reading Psychology Class, I have gained a deeper understanding of individuation and self-awareness. The theories and case studies provided in the book have made me aware of important issues in personal psychological development and have given me some ideas for problem solving. I believe that through continuous learning and practice in daily life, we can gradually become more authentic, free, and mature versions of ourselves.